All right, we've got some big news now. Updates on power pole fires. We've been hearing a lot about this morning in San Marcos and in other spots around Central Texas.
Yeah, causing some problems with the traffic signals as well. Our executive producer, Mary, is joining us now in studio with the latest. Mary, I know you got some information for us. This is a live look, by the way, at one that is kind of sparking a bit right now. But tell us more, Mary.
Hey, good morning. So I've been on the phone with San Marcos PD and Austin Fire because we are seeing all kinds of power pole fires in Travis, Hays, and Bastrop counties. So all of these power poles are Blue Bonnet Electric. So I just got off the phone with the spokesperson of Blue Bonnet Electric, and I want you guys to know what's going on. So yes, they are all power pole fires. They're not transformer fires like we originally had thought, because after periods, what he explained to me is after periods of prolonged drought like we've had and all this lack of rainfall, dust can build up on insulators on those power lines in the cross arms. So that's kind of the very top of the pole that you're seeing there, that cross arm, that T kind of like across, and then the insulators on top. They will, the dust that piles up creates a film, and electricity will track from the power lines over the surface of the insulators, and that can start a fire. So we're seeing a bunch of these. Now, thankfully, the power is coming back on quickly. So anybody that's without power in that San Marcos area and right here in the Manor area along 290, the power is coming back on quickly. So it's pretty normal when you have dry conditions and the moisture come in to spark this. So Blue Bonnet has 13,000 power lines. In dry areas around Texas, you're not seeing this problem. But because we have these foggy conditions that Casey's been talking about, this drizzle, this is fairly common. So the good news is all this should be fixed kind of before we have the winter Arctic front really come in. So I know we're looking at pictures of 290 and Manor, but I want to talk to you about San Marcos because that's when the first kind of pole fire started around 4:15 this morning. Crews are assessing the damage and replacing or repairing any equipment. A lot of that equipment is that top of the power pole that we're kind of seeing those sparks here as an example. Yeah, go ahead.
You were talking about, Mary, like a little bit of that dust, and it's interesting because it's like a confluence of things that's causing these fires, right? Because of it was dry and then they got the rain.
I was surprised to see in so many different areas that we're seeing all these power and at this same time. So for the last 3 hours or so, we keep seeing these pop up. It's just not very often that it's all at one time, but Blue Bonnet Electric does say that this is common. This can happen when, again, we haven't had, when's the last rainfall we had, and now we're getting hit with all of this. So I want to talk a little bit more about San Marcos just because we do have Bowie Elementary in San Marcos that doesn't have power. Blue Bonnet is trying to get the power back on between 8:30 and 9 a.m. is that ETA, so school should be fine. I know there's a high school in the area. That high school has power and should be okay. All Blue Bonnet customers are getting alerted, letting them know, kind of keeping updated on this. So again, we're looking at pictures of 290 and Manor, but we're seeing this problem also in Bastrop County, other parts of Travis County, and Hays County as well.
Hey, I don't know if Jay can hear me. Jay's our photographer out on the scene. Jay, if you could zoom in a little bit. I got a question, Mary. You might not know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Our executive producer, Mary, is here with us with all this information. That fire is burning on top of an active powered power pole. So are they not putting it out because they could potentially further damage the connections there because there is power flowing through those lines? Or is it just they haven't gotten out there to put the fire out yet? The fire's been burning the entire time we sat here.
When I spoke with Austin Fire about an hour ago, so they said that there was no major emergency. So I don't have the exact answer to that, but when they said as far as anyone in danger or that kind of thing, they didn't seem urgent on that. So if there is an emergency, they're going to move fast. But there have been a lot of these reports of wires arcing. This is kind of what that means. And again, a lot of them have been in that 290 Manor area. So they're on it. As far as putting it out, I don't know yet. That could be my next round of questions and figuring out what it takes to put that out safely.
I mean, that fire's growing, right?
Yeah,
it looks like it's growing.
It looks like it's growing a bit. You know, we do have Matt Mitchell from Austin Energy coming later. Maybe he might be able to kind of shed some light on this. But yeah, it is growing. At first, it didn't look like too much, and now it definitely has kind of, at least you can see the top part of that T. You know what I mean? Yeah. That part's in.
Did they say, Mary, how many are affected by this? Did they have a number yet?
The power's been going back on. So at most, when I saw in San Marcos, we had about 2,700 people without power, 2,700 customers.
Customers there?
When I last checked before I came in here, it was 1,800. In this Manor area, when I last looked, it was about 245 customers. So very inconvenient for the people in that area right now.
Again, and it also is creating issues when it comes to the traffic signals, so that can also be another issue as well.
Well, and the scary thing to me, Mary, is that we are expecting this Arctic front to come through, and that's going to bring a whole nother set of problems with it. So I would assume it's their intent to get these done and taken care of as soon as possible, right, as we go through the morning today before the cold weather?
If you want any assurance from Blue Bonnet Electric, what they had told me is they've been preparing for all these events for the last 7 to 10 days.
Okay.
They have extra 400 men and women ready to go, ready to respond for when that cold snap hits. So even though this is an inconvenient problem right now, because it can be fairly common given, again, the dry conditions and the moisture that has moved in right now, these fires, again, like what you're looking at your screen on 290 and Manor, they're not worried. They're not worried as much. I didn't have the impression of any kind of major concern. But enough of a concern that we got to get this out. We got to get this fixed. We got to get the necessary repairs done today so everyone can stay warm during this cold spell.
Okay.
It's good information.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's just I've never seen anything like that.
It's a little strange, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've dealt with it before. They know what they're doing, but interesting. Thank you so much, Mary.
That's our executive producer, Mary Pisani, with the very latest. This is, again, in Manor, San Marcos. Mary, just before you leave, we haven't heard of this with Austin Energy yet. This is just Blue Bonnet Electric.
Blue Bonnet.
Correct.
Okay.
So all of these are specifically Blue Bonnet because Blue Bonnet does cover these areas. From what I've looked at Austin Energy this morning to make sure that those customers are okay, I have not seen any kind of power outages or any reports from Austin Fire saying that they are seeing similar power pole fires.
It's great information.
Okay. You should do this more often.
Mary, you're a fantastic reporter.
Thank you for
Mary
doing that for
Pisani
us.
on the scene.
We appreciate it.